KESQ, the desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3, live at 6.
This week's winds causing severe damage in Cabazon.
My buddy's roof ripped off and he had to pay several $1,000s to get it repaired just yesterday.
Tonight, what families are doing after having their homes toppled and properties ruined.
And noise complaints around the airport. News Channel 3 is getting answers from airport officials about the change in flight patterns.
An avalanche kills 8 skiers and leaves 1 missing in the Lake Tahoe area this week. Tonight, an in-depth look at what causes avalanches and what makes them so dangerous.
Tonight, a Cabazon neighborhood recovering after powerful winds left widespread destruction. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Dowd in for Karen.
And I'm John White. Some residents say they've already spent thousands of dollars on the cleanup and wish that the county took a more proactive role in trying to prevent these disasters before they happen.
News Channel 3's Athena Drage spent the day as the cleanup continues with those folks.
Yeah, John and Peter, I mean, just take a look at these images. It looks like something you'd see out of a hurricane site, but just 30 minutes away. Residents say they're recovering from these gusty winds and preparing for the next extreme weather event.
Strong winds leaving behind a path of downed trees, bent road signs, and toppled trailers. Some split in half.
We're here on Esperanza Street in Cabazon, where, as you can see behind me, neighbors say they're still picking up the pieces from a massive windstorm that left behind damage like this. Trailers toppled over, homes left destroyed.
Longtime Cabazon resident Gregory Latham says he's no stranger to extreme weather.
It had been so bad, the wind and whatnot, that it blew diesel trailers over that were on my property, and it had ripped big trees out of the ground. And one time there was a river of water 4 feet deep in front of my place.
But even he's surprised by the damage left behind by Tuesday's winds.
My buddy's roof ripped off and he had to pay several $1,000s to get it repaired just yesterday.
Even those spared for major losses say they had parts of their property ruined.
This is broken, the trailer over there. Yeah, this is moved. Right here is broken my windows, a little right here.
Now Latham saying he feels for his low-income neighbors sifting through what's left.
I think that it sucks that insurance don't cover natural disasters and acts of God, and the people that have to deal with that it sucks for them, you know.
We reached out to Riverside County, who told us they have coordinated calls with the National Weather Service and assessed the area, looked down power lines, road signs, trees, and some damaged structures, as you saw there. But so far, no residents have requested help from the Red Cross. They're asking residents to report damage at 951-955-6899. You can find that number at our website, KESQ.com. I'm reporting live in studio, Athena Drage, News Channel 3.
All right, time now for our weather. Here's a live look from our Jessup Cathedral City cam. You could see some raindrops on the lens.
And clearing at the same time. So it's a bit of a confusing picture there.
Well, you know what? We talked about how this was going to be a quick moving system and how these spotty showers were going to be around for a few hours, but then quickly move on out. And that's already something that we're seeing. The winds a bit breezy. Yes, they still continue. And we continue to be watching that wind advisory. I'll show you that in a moment. Right now, let's start first, though, with the winds, where they remain elevated in Thermal, in 29 Palms, up at the top of the Tram, Whitewater, Banning, Big Bear, and in Yucca Valley, although improving out at the Palm Springs Airport. Still going to stick with that advisory at least until about 9 a.m. tomorrow. We here in the Coachella Valley are a part of that, so we're not out of the woods just yet. Winds will continue to remain breezy to gusty depending on your location, and again, damaging winds yesterday out around the Cabazon area. Right now, let's take you to the top of the Palm Springs aerial tramway, where it's almost got this purple kind of hue. We are socked in the clouds out there, but going to see more of that clearing here as we headed towards the next few hours. Overnight looking nice, and our humidity definitely much higher as we continue to track a few raindrops out there. But winds moving forward, again, they do stay elevated, but we'll see improving conditions as we headed towards our day yesterday. We'll talk more about that wind and spotty showers, how that's wrapping up, and drier days are ahead coming up in just a couple of minutes, guys.
Thank you, Katie. A former Coachella Valley Unified girls soccer coach is headed to prison for over 61 years. 30-year-old Juan Manuel Pintoyo Troncoso was sentenced today after being found guilty of several counts of forcible lewd acts on a child and other related crimes. Back in 2019, Troncoso was one of the lead coaches in the after-school education and safety program at Toro Canyon Middle School in Thermal.
Happening right now, Olive Crest Desert Communities is hosting its annual Power of One fundraising dinner. Organizers say the funds raised tonight stay directly in the Coachella Valley. And Olive Crest Executive Director says the organization has served over 900 families in the desert with their new Child and Family Resource Center. This year's featured speaker is Aaliyah Azaria, a nationally recognized expert on human trafficking and a survivor herself.
This area really has my heart because it was where the first place I ever reached out for help. And unfortunately for me, in the early 2000s, there was very little help offered, and that wasn't a good experience that I had.
Azaria is now speaking out, and our own Karen Devine is emceeing the event. Be sure to stay with us here for a full report coming up at 10 and 11 tonight.
And coming up at 6, a deadly avalanche this week in the Tahoe area. First Alert meteorologist Spencer Blum will be taking an in-depth look at what causes avalanches.
And next, getting answers after noise complaints around the Palm Springs airport. We sat down with one official to find out why the flight patterns changed and what can be done about it.
Getting answers, a growing number of Valley residents say aircraft noise is disrupting their daily lives. The complaints follow a change by the FAA to the flight approach path into Palm Springs International Airport.
Yeah, we've received several emails from viewers about this issue, and tonight we're getting answers. I spoke with airport officials who say they share residents' frustration, but because this change was made by the Federal Aviation Administration, they say they're limited in what they can do. It's a sound many Valley residents say has become impossible to ignore. About a year ago, the FAA changed the landing approach into PSP without notifying the airport. The change was intended to improve safety and efficiency, but it has also triggered a surge in noise complaints across the valley.
We've heard a lot from folks in Indian Wells, from Cathedral City and others, who all of a sudden, for the first time, are hearing planes and complaining about noise that they've never experienced before.
Airport Commission Chair Kevin J. Corcoran says the airport's authority stops at the runway. Once planes are in the sky, control belongs to the FAA. So what, if anything, needs to be done?
Because this is a decision that's made at the federal level, we're recommending that people contact their federal representatives and share their concerns with that.
Airport officials say the issue is not more flights, but different flight paths. In fact, the total number of flights has declined in recent years as airlines switch to larger and generally quieter aircraft. Still, the new routes have changed where that noise is heard. So now the commission is collecting data and community feedback in hopes of convincing federal officials to revisit the decision.
We're hoping that by coordinating our efforts at the airport as well as feedback at the federal level, we can exert change and go back to what we had before.
Airport officials say any potential changes to flight paths could take years because they must come from the federal level. Meanwhile, residents can submit noise complaints directly through the airport's website. For more information, head to KESQ.com.
And here's what's coming up weather-wise as we track some drier conditions ahead for your Friday and into the upcoming weekend. I've got the latest on drier days and 80s on the way.
And next, an avalanche claims at least 8 lives in the Tahoe area. First Alert meteorologist Spencer Blum will show us why these snow slides are so dangerous. You're watching the Desert's News Leader.
It has just been over 48 hours since a group of more than a dozen backcountry skiers encountered an avalanche, claiming at least 8 lives. One other person is still missing and now presumed dead, with authorities now calling their search a recovery effort.
It's now considered the deadliest avalanche in the U.S. in 40 years. First Alert meteorologist Spencer Blum spoke with an expert today to get answers about these life-threatening phenomena and is live in studio to tell us more. And certainly they had all of this snow up in the Tahoe area that came ahead of this.
A really tragic incident. Like you said, this is the worst avalanche, deadliest avalanche.
Let me share my microphone with you, Spencer.
Is my mic not on?
I don't think it is.
We're going to share a mic. We're going to share a mic.
Either way, I'm going to help you out here.
This is a very...
See if I can
There we go.
handle this, but we want to hear what you have to say.
And it's really important to hear this because there's a lot of safety issues involved. And a lot of people here in Southern California do go skiing. And this is a gut-wrenching story for many people in the skiing community. And it really highlights the importance of safety when exploring and recreating in nature. Just days after multiple rounds of winter storms brought several feet of snow to the Sierra Nevada mountains, the news broke of a tragic and deadly avalanche near Lake Tahoe. In fact, this is now the deadliest avalanche since 1981, when 11 climbers were killed on the slopes of Mount Rainier in Washington state. There is a wide array of different factors that play important roles in whether or not avalanches will happen.
So avalanches, you need a weak layer. And you need a certain amount of volume of snow to create the avalanche. There might be weak layers, but if there's no snow that can be picked up, then the avalanche will stop very quickly.
These weak layers can form when the top layers of snow partially melt and refreeze before getting buried by fresh snow. The refrozen snow becomes highly unstable and can lead to avalanches if disturbed.
And then when it refreezes again, you get this very unusual kind of like snow composition and made of little pebbles or little grains, like coarse grains. And those are very unstable.
When skiing at a resort, the slopes are regularly checked and maintained to mitigate the risk of avalanches. But when in the backcountry, you're on your own. That's why it's so important to stay safe. First and foremost, you should always make sure to check the forecast to see if there is a high risk for avalanches. Aside from the weather, you should always make sure to go with other people, wear bright colored clothing, and have an avalanche beacon with you. Avalanche beacons are a critical tool that can help rescue teams locate you if the worst should happen.
If a slide happens and someone gets caught in that, you can turn this to a search mode, and it will actually give you generally meters in distance, but it'll also give you direction of which way you need to go to find whoever's buried.
The Nevada County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that their rescue mission has now transitioned into a recovery mission. An avalanche warning is currently in effect for the area around Lake Tahoe, including Castle Peak. Live in studio, Spencer Blum, News Channel 3.
Now, first alert weather with meteorologist Katie Bower.
Well, luckily no avalanches here, but we are dealing with wind and rain.
Yeah, and we've been talking about snow in our local mountains. So,
that's true. In the mountains, correct.
And
We should have beautiful views tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be stunning when you look out there behind the palm trees. That'll be really pretty. And we're already seeing some of it clearing now, so tomorrow is going to be spectacular. Still a few raindrops, though, on our camera as we take this look out at our Rancho Mirage area, the Weston Rancho Mirage, where conditions are continuing to improve. I'd call it a great hot tub night. If I was you, I'd get out there, grab a glass of wine, jump in the hot tub. Conditions are going to be on the cooler side, so a hot tub would be perfect. Temperatures right now at about 52 degrees. We've been below average the last few days, and we're going to continue that for another day or so. After Friday, we start a slow climbing trend as temperatures actually return back to the 80s. But it's going to take a couple of days. We'll get there. Right now, those gusty winds, they do still linger, although we're wrapping things up here. Our wind advisory set to expire by 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we've already been watching some improvement as far as the winds go here as this cold front continues to push through our area here tonight. Behind that front, some high pressure begins to move on in, and as that builds, we're going to see nicer, calmer conditions, a little quieter here across Southern California, and temperatures on the rise. Today, though, cold enough that snow stuck around. Still seeing a lot of people up there on the mountains. We had some continued snow falling, but we also had gusty winds which were blowing some of that snow that was up on the trees. In fact, even some sleds out there. Nice day, even though it was a wetter one here. I think if you're going to head up there tomorrow, it's going to be fantastic. Let's show you what's going on right now. Here is our satellite radar, and you can see, I want to show you the Long Valley camera. We just saw that time lapse, and there it is live. Right now, things a little bit quieter out there as we take that live look from our Long Valley area. That's the ranger station, by the way, the top of the mountain out there. Then we swing up to Big Bear, and it's a little slushy out there on the roads. If you're going to be driving, heads up, those snow levels have have continued to fall, and we're still seeing some lingering snow showers that linger for us here this evening, with that winter storm warning set to continue at least through tomorrow morning. Still watching several new inches of snow possible, while the rest of us are drying out. But again, still watching that moisture here for at least another hour or two before things continue to exit out of our neck of the woods. So what does that mean for the next couple of days? It means your Friday looks fantastic. In fact, we'll jump to that First Alert Comfort Air 7-day forecast. 60s through Saturday, then 70s, and just like that, Monday, 80s return with upper 80s expected by Wednesday and Thursday. Peter and John.
Okay, Katie, thanks. The Desi Strong Foundation is holding its 8th annual Run Walk for Kids event. The 5K is being held to raise money to help in the fight against pediatric cancer, providing financial support for families in the valley who have received a cancer diagnosis. The Run Walk will be held on February 28th at Rancho Mirage Community Park. Admission to the event is free, with a minimal donation requested to participate in the 5K.
The Idlewild Arts Academy announcing their spring production. Students will be tackling Scott McPherson's dramatic comedy Marvin's Room. The off-Broadway hit, adapted into an Oscar-nominated film, provides a portrait of a terminally ill woman's commitment to loving others through illness, estrangement, and troubles. The director hopes it will provide the school's international cast of students with a chance to showcase their talents. The play will run from March 6th through the 8th at the Bowman IAF Theater in Idlewild.
Coming up in sports, devastated and shocked. That's how athletes describe California Baptist's decision to cut its Division I wrestling program. The local ties and how the community is rallying together to keep the program alive.
Now, from News Channel 3, this is the best local sports show with sports director Blake Arthur.
Cal Baptist University, located in nearby Riverside, has decided to cut its men's wrestling program at the conclusion of this season. Not going down without a fight, players, coaches, alumni, and those within the community are calling for help, doing whatever it takes to keep the program alive. Cal Baptist University is the only Division I wrestling program in Southern California. For context and how it relates to the Coachella Valley, CBU's current wrestling roster includes a pair of Palm Desert High School graduates, David Alonzo and Dylan Guillermo, directly impacted by this decision.
I think there's a lot that we don't know, and I think that there's a lot of viable options that were not considered. The community found out the same day that the head coach found out, that the kids found out, the wrestlers, and two of those wrestlers are Palm Desert High School kids. I'm not here to trash the university. I'm an alumni of CBU and I love the program, but we also believe that this was not a good decision.
You can find more on CBU's fight to keep their wrestling program alive on our website, KESQ.com, and be sure to stay with us for the latest on this developing story. Speaking of college athletics, the Prestige Golf Tournament has come and gone from the Coachella Valley for the 26th time. This year's tournament didn't end the way anybody wanted, canceled yesterday due to high winds and debris on the golf course, as you see there. But now the focus is looking forward, and there is optimism for what this tournament is trying to become. This is an event that wants elevated status, always looking at ways to improve the overall product.
We'll be back next year, and I think bigger and better in different things that we're doing and discussing right now in concept. And our mission is because of the love of the event and the area. And this tournament was custom made for the Coachella Valley. I think there's been a lot of great support and interest in this event, not only from here, but all over the country, all over the world.
Love that. It's great for the Valley. And speaking of golf, I want to mention the return to Riviera today, the first round of the Genesis Invitational after the fires last year in the Pacific Palisades, forcing that tournament. So to move to San Diego, I'll have more on that later tonight.
Okay.
Rory McIlroy tied at the lead.
Hopefully Scotty Scheffler will have a better day tomorrow.
I mean, hopefully we have a better day with weather tomorrow too.
Weather, I wish they could be golfing tomorrow because it's going to be calmer, quieter, sunnier, and then temperatures start to climb as we head towards next week, returning back to the 80s, in fact, upper 80s by Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
That's what I like. I like that.
Can't wait.
More news coming up on CBS Local 2.
We're back on both stations tonight. 11 The News is on 24/7 at KESQ.com. Have a great night.
News Channel 3 is now available on any of these streaming services. Watch live and on demand